You are miles from the nearest road. The woods are dead silent. Then, a heavy, deliberate crunch of leaves breaks the stillness. You swing the flashlight beam into the dark. For a fraction of a second, a massive bipedal shadow melts back into the fog. Modern science dismisses this creature as a rural superstition or an elaborate hoax. Yet, every year, hikers, park rangers, and hunters from entirely different backgrounds bring back the exact same story. The sheer volume of these overlapping accounts forces a difficult question. Are thousands of people experiencing a shared psychological glitch, or is there a highly elusive primate surviving in the margins of the continent? To understand the weight of these reports, we have to look to the frontier. In the mid-19th century, the Bitterroot Mountains dividing Idaho and Montana were intensely isolated and unforgiving. In 1893, President Theodore Roosevelt published a memoir detailing a story told to him by a grizzled trapper named Carl Bauman. Roosevelt noted that Bauman, a practical outdoorsman, still shuddered when recalling the events. Bauman and his partner had set up a remote trapping camp near the Wisdom River. Over several nights, their lean-to was ransacked. Bauman reported waking to a foul, musky animal stench and catching the silhouette of a massive creature standing on two legs at the edge of the camp. On their final day in the pass, Bauman rucked his partner at camp to retrieve their beaver traps. When he returned, he found the man dead beside a fallen spruce. His neck was broken, his throat bore deep fang marks, and giant human-like footprints circled the body. This historical record grounds the Sasquatch legend in territorial stalking and physical danger, existing long before the creature became a staple of commercial folklore. That undercurrent of danger followed the creature into the 20th century, hitting a new peak in 1967 with the famous Patterson-Gimlin film. Suddenly, the frontier myth had a face and a physical gait. Decades of reported sighting clusters align almost perfectly with North America's national parks. Zooming in, the scale of isolation becomes apparent. Millions of acres of unpatrolled valleys create a self-sustaining ecosystem built to conceal highly evasive wildlife. Biologically, there is an evolutionary precedent for a massive primate to occupy this space. Fossil evidence of Gigantopithecus proves that giant apes roamed Asia until relatively recently. Scientists suggest a remnant population could have tracked human ancestors across the Bering Land Bridge. Today, human development consumes thousands of acres of open space daily. This rapid deforestation is eroding the edges of those deep reserves, forcing previously hidden wildlife closer to logging roads and rural highways. Between the lineage suggested by the fossil record and the geographic fortress of the high wilderness, the conditions for a hidden survival remain remarkably plausible. But the biological argument hits a severe roadblock when researchers look for physical proof. Despite decades of searching, no one has recovered verified DNA. Hair and blood samples test positive for bears, wolves, or deer. When you place a human in an unfamiliar, dark forest, the brain's fight-or-flight response floods the system with adrenaline. This neurochemical spike severely distorts spatial awareness and memory, causing an upright bear or a shifting shadow to morph into an aggressive beast. This diagram plots human likeness against emotional response. As an entity looks almost human, empathy drops sharply into the uncanny valley. A bipedal ape plunges into this trench. The subtle imperfections trigger an evolutionary alarm designed to avoid diseased corpses or competing hominids. The terror people feel during these encounters is entirely real, but the beast in the woods may not be a physical resident, but rather a survival glitch hardwired into our own minds. Whether the creature leaves physical footprints in the mud or only echoes in our evolutionary memory, the primal dread it commands remains potent. We live in a society secured by concrete, GPS, and instantaneous communication. Yet just past the edge of the highway, there is an overwhelming ancient wilderness that operates completely outside of our control. In this modern context, the creature serves as a sociological symbol. It is the embodiment of the last true unknown on the continent, a living reminder that the map still contains blank spaces. Bigfoot remains a necessary shadow in the American imagination. watches from the edge of the trees, measuring the depth of our separation from the natural world. So, the next time you find yourself at the edge of the woods, listening to a heavy silence settle over the trees, our refusal to stop peering into these shadows reveals a profound need for a landscape that hasn't been entirely tamed.